At the end of 2 years from when the Most High shook the earth with the great miracle, involving Abram's going out of the fire and being unharmed, that is in the 52nd year of his life. Behold, King Nimrod sat in Babel upon the throne, and the king fell asleep and dreamt that he was standing with his troops and army in a valley opposite the king's furnace. And he lifted up his eyes and saw a man in the likeness of Abram coming forth from the furnace, and he came and stood before the king with his drawn sword, and then sprang to the king with his sword. When the king fled from the man, for he was afraid, and while he was running, the man threw an egg upon the king's head, and the egg became a great river. The king dreamt that all his troops sank in that river and died, and the king took flight with 3 men who were before him, and he escaped. The king looked at these men, and they were clothed in princely dresses as the garments of kings, and had the appearance and majesty of kings. While they were running, the river again turned to an egg before the king, and there came forth from the egg a young bird which came before the king, and flew at his head and plucked out the king's eye. The king was grieved at the sight, and he awoke out of his sleep, and his spirit was agitated, and he felt a great terror. In the morning the king rose from his couch in fear, and he called all the wise men and magicians, and he told his dream to them. And a wise servant of the king, whose name was Enoch, answered the king, saying,
This is nothing else but the evil of Abram and his seed which will spring up against my king in the latter days. Behold, the day will come when Abram and his seed and the children of his household will war with my king, and they will smite all the king's hosts and his troops. As to what thou hast said concerning 3 men which thou didst see like unto thyself, and which did escape, this means that only thou wilt escape with 3 kings from the kings of the earth who will be with thee in battle. And that which thou saw of the river which turned to an egg as at first, and the young bird plucking out thine eye, this means nothing else but the seed of Abram which will slay the king in latter days. This is my king's dream, and this is its interpretation, and the dream is true, and the interpretation which thy servant has given thee is right.
We are still in Genesis chapter 12 verse 28. A lot took place in this chapter, and it is clearly shown in Jasher chapter 12 verse 45 to 56. This dream came from the Most High, showing us in the future, a shadow of things to come, when the Most High will use Abram's seed to bring about his righteousness upon the earth. This dream was shown to Nimrod exactly 2 years after the Most High had compassion over Abram, saving him from the fiery furnace that burned for 3 days straight. Remember, the Most High doesn't need us. He loves us and his mercy endures forever, but we need the Most High. We are nothing without him.